But on to the corporate activity on the show, and Mumbai real estate. Remember, there was news today about how Mumbai realty companies or the High Court has dismissed the plea wherein Mumbai realty companies are hoping that there will not be VAT on sale of estate. That hasn't happened, so a bit of a negative maybe, but not too much. But there's lots more to talk about for Godrej Properties because they've bagged a couple of new projects. There's lots that happening with regards to other plots that they had earlier. Let's get in Pirojsha Godrej, MD and CEO of Godrej Properties, on the show to talk about that and more. Good to have you, Pirojsha. Thanks so much for joining in. Can you give us some updates on the Mumbai realty projects? I mean, Vikhroli, PKC, and the latest one, the redevelopment project in Chembur.
Godrej Properties looking currently at several projects in the Mumbai market. In Vikhroli, we have both a large commercial office building called Godrej 1 that is currently about halfway through construction. We also have a residential development called Godrej Platinum, which is about 4 towers of 150,000 square feet each. And we've just launched about 2 weeks ago the second of those 4 towers, and we've seen a very good response for that development and at very good prices. So the Vikhroli projects generally are moving along very nicely. As you rightly pointed out, we also have a redevelopment project coming up in Chembur that we've just signed. We've also been able to successfully conclude a private equity deal for that project, which is the Sahakar Nagar redevelopment project. In addition to that project, we have two other projects in Chembur that we hope to launch the first one in the next 3 or 4 months. We're also currently looking at many additional new opportunities in Mumbai and hope to have some positive announcements on those fronts in the coming years. And of course, we also in the commercial space have our project with Jet Airways in Bandra Kurla complex, where the design is now well underway, and we hope to start construction on that in the next few months.
Can you update us then on the BKC Jet Airways land deal? I mean, how soon do you expect all the approvals to be in place, and by when do you expect the project to start?
Yes, we do expect that. We, of course, have been already getting many of the necessary approvals which are already in place, but we are now working on finalizing our architectural plans. Once that is in place, we expect to be able to get our approvals relatively soon. So yes, certainly within the next couple of quarters, we would expect to have started construction in full swing on that project.
Non-Bombay, Pirojsha, projects in Ahmedabad, for example, or other states, how is the situation out there?
Our Ahmedabad project is moving nicely. We've sold almost 4 million square feet of space in that project since we launched it just over 2 years ago, which we think is about the most that has been sold in any single project in India in that time frame. So I think that project will remain a very important one for us. As to your question on our overall portfolio, we have a presence now in 12 cities with a developable area of about 75 million square feet. Only about 5 to 6 million square feet of that is in Mumbai. So a lot of our projects now are in various parts of the country. We've seen great responses to our projects in places all across the country, including NCR, where we completed a project or completed the sales of a project in Gurgaon. Significant projects in Bangalore, Kolkata and other markets as well.
How has been the sales momentum in Q4, and do you expect some recovery in sales in FY13?
We hope so, and we do think that the RBI cutting rates will create a lot of impetus for the sector. There's no question that the financial year we've just completed was a weak one for the real estate sector. Interest rates going up as much as they did certainly dampened sentiment, as did slowing economic growth and other macroeconomic factors. Our expectation is that the RBI will start cutting interest rates in the near future. We hope it's as soon as this month. But irrespective of when that happens, we do think that event could lead to a significant trigger for the real estate sector. We saw in 2009, for example, that after a very weak period in 2008 and early 2009, once the economy started doing better, real estate was a sector that outperformed substantially. So our expectation is that the RBI will cut interest rates, macroeconomic sentiment is likely to improve this year, and that will lead to a much stronger year for the real estate sector.
Okay, one final word really. I mean, you recently concluded the IPP with investors in order to cut debt and comply with the SEBI promoter shareholding norms as well. But the question really is, what will the debt equity look like post all the debt repayment that you plan, and how much do interest costs come down as a result of this going ahead?
We are currently in a quiet period, so I can't comment exactly on what our debt equity will look like, but clearly we feel that after this IPO, our balance sheet has been greatly strengthened and our debt equity ratios are at very comfortable levels. Historically, we have targeted a debt to equity ratio of anywhere between 1 to 1.5:1. We will certainly be within that range post this IPP, and I don't see that as much of a concern for us at this stage.
Okay, Pirojsha, we'll leave it at that. Thanks so much for joining in today and giving us that perspective. That's the word from Godrej Properties. Pull up the other Mumbai-based real estate stocks as well, NHDIL and Orbit. A couple of these should come up on your screen. Also should come up as Oberoi Realty, though that's not too liquid, but Orbit and HDIL as well as Indiabulls Real Estate maybe not the best of days for these stocks. Remember, I mean, it's not been a very positive judgment. I'm guessing